example, this is example 5 for 4.3. Okay, we want to find cosine and tangent. Using the given information. Okay, so the first example, we are going to find cosine and tangent given that the sine of theta is 3/7 and the tangent of theta is less than 0. Okay, so that means that the tangent of theta, right, is negative. Okay, so I need to think about what quadrant sine is positive and tangent is negative, right? I know that sine is positive in the first quadrant and the second quadrant. Okay, tangent is positive in the first quadrant. Tangent is negative in the second quadrant. Okay, so that means that I am talking about an angle here in the second quadrant. Okay, so I'm talking about an angle in the second quadrant. And I need to find, what are we looking for? Cosine and tangent of this angle. Okay, so I'm going to redraw this triangle. Okay, so I need to find cosine and tangent of this angle. Okay, so here is my opposite side. Here's my adjacent. Here's my hypotenuse. If sine is 3/7, that means that the opposite side is 3 and the hypotenuse is 7. So I need to use the Pythagorean theorem to find that adjacent side. Okay, so b is the square root of 40, which is going to simplify to 2 square root of 10. Okay, so 2 square root of 10. Okay. All right, so I need to find the cosine and the tangent. All right, so cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, but we are in the second quadrant, and remember that cosine is negative in the second quadrant. So it's going to be negative 2 square root of 10 over 7. Okay, and then tangent is opposite over adjacent, and I'm not going to make you rationalize that denominator. You can leave it just like that. Okay, but tangent is also negative in that second quadrant. Let's look at one more. Secant of theta is 3, okay, and sine of theta is less than 0. Okay, so I am looking for the quadrant, right? If secant is positive, that means cosine is positive. So I know that cosine is positive in the first and it's positive in the fourth. Okay, but sine is negative. Okay, so I know that sine is positive in the first quadrant and sine is negative in the fourth quadrant. Okay, so that means since sine has to be negative, right, I am looking for an angle in that fourth quadrant. Okay, so if I were to draw that terminal angle, right, or that angle in standard form, the terminal side would be in the fourth quadrant. So my triangle would look something like that. All right, so secant is 3, so let's label our sides really quick. Here's opposite, here's adjacent, and here's the hypotenuse. Okay, so secant is hypotenuse over adjacent, so that means my hypotenuse is 3, and my adjacent side is 1. So again, I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so I have 1 plus b squared equals 9. B squared equals 8. B equals the square root of 8, which is going to simplify to 2 square root of 2. Okay, so I am looking for the cosine and the tangent. Okay, so cosine, I really know, I mean, that's the opposite of secant, so I could just flip that over and say that it's 1/3, or I could do adjacent over hypotenuse. We're in the fourth quadrant, so cosine is positive. Okay, but then I need to find the tangent. Okay, tangent is opposite over adjacent, so that would just be 2 square root of 2. Okay, but we are in the fourth quadrant, and in the fourth quadrant, tangent is negative. Okay, so it would be negative 2 square root of 2. And you can, well, never mind, I'm not going to say that. So then you are done.